Hi, very good morning to one and all. My name is Dinesh and I am from the Department of CSC from Chevrolet Engineering College. And I welcome all the listeners of this video for being here. So this is the session where we are going to talk about multi-dimensional arrays. So before going to see about multi-dimensional arrays, let us discuss what the things we have discussed in the previous session. In the previous session, we have seen an example on single dimension arrays and how to make use of that single dimensional arrays and a program in order to add the two array elements and storing in a third array. And at the same time, we have seen multi-dimensional arrays introduction, how to declare a multi-dimensional array in Java, and how to create that multi-dimensional array in Java. And at the same time, we have also seen the initialization of values into a multi-dimensional array and how to access the elements from a multi-dimensional array. So these are all the things we have covered so far in the previous session. And in today's session, we mainly concentrate on a couple of programs on multi-dimensional arrays. Before going to the couple of programs, we will discuss about, we will just revive the things what we have discussed so far in this, so far in multi-dimensional arrays. So I'm moving to the slide of multi-dimensional arrays here, right? This is the picture. This is the slide where we have stopped in the previous session, right? So, and now we all know how to initialize and how to access the elements of multi-dimensional array. Now let us have a look at, let us revive the things what we have seen in the previous session. So this is how, this is the program where we have stopped the previous session, right? Now let us look at let us look at the program line by line. Here we are importing a package called as util package, which means utilities package. Why we are importing this package? In the sense, in this program we are going to create an object for scanner class. Why this scanner class is used? In the sense, this scanner class is used in order to take the inputs during the runtime of the program by using certain methods called as next int if it is an integer, next float if it is a floating point, and next char if it is a character, right? If you want to take integer as an input during the runtime of the program, we can use next int. If we want to take floating point number as an input during the runtime of the program, we can take next float. Similarly, for character and other things. So here it is a Java main method, public static void main string args. It is a main method in Java, and inside the Java we have created an array where the name of the array is a, and if you observe here, it is having two subscripts. So this array is having a couple of subscripts. If there are a couple of subscripts, then the type of the array is called as something called as this type of array is called as 2D array, two-dimensional array, right? Now we have created that array. So the size of the array is 3 rows and 3 columns. That means totally it can accommodate up to 9 numbers. So these 9 numbers are saved at the locations row 0, column 0, row 0, column 1, row 0, column 2, and then row 1, column 0, next row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2, right? So if we have a matrix like this, if we have a matrix like this, right? If you can represent this one, these rows 0, 1, 2, and the columns as 0, 1, and 2, right? This one will be 0 comma 0, this one will be 0 comma 1, it is 0 comma 2. So the first three elements will be stored at 0 0, 0 1, 0 2, and the next three elements will be stored at 1 0, right? 1 1, 1 2, and the last elements will be stored at 2 0, 2 1, and 2 2. So this is how we can save the values inside the multi-dimensional array, right? Now, if we want to access those values, we are using system.out.println name of the array and index of the values, right? Now, now here we are having only 9 elements, that is 3 rows and 3 columns. At that particular point of time, there is no difficult to represent all these things, right? Let us assume if we have the array size of 30 and 30. Now what will happen? We need to write this indices from 0 to 0 to 29, 1 to 29, 2 to 29, 3 to 29, right? So that means we are going to accommodate up to 900 elements. So in case if we want to initialize these 900 elements, and if we want to access these 900 elements, it requires 900 plus 900, 180 lines of code. It will increase the thing. So in order to avoid such type of things, right? In order to avoid such type of things, let us have an nested for loop. With that, we can accommodate any number of values. By just changing the condition, we can have any number of values depending upon the size of our multi-dimension array, right? So listen, I am modifying this one. I am deleting all the lines of code, right? I need only one line of code, right? If I can have here I, and if I can have here j, right? If I am able to run the I value from 0 to 2, right? And j value, right? J value also from 0 to 2, then I can accommodate all the values. If you observe here, there is 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. That means we need to keep the 0 as constant, right? We need to keep the 0 as constant, right? And we need to keep I value as 0, and then we need to change the j value 0, 1 and 2. When j reaches to 3, right? When j reaches to 3, we need to have an I value of 1. Whenever the I value of 1, again we need to maintain j equal to 0, j equal to 1 and j equal to 2. Whenever the j reaches 3, again we need to increment the value of I, right? Again we need to increment the value of I. So here now I will become 2, and then again we need to iterate j with 0, j with 1 and j with 2. So whenever the j value becomes 3, we just come out of the loop, and whenever the I value becomes 3, we just come out of the loop. So we need to maintain this one. We need to initialize I with 0, and we need to iterate j with 1, 0, 1, 2. We need to increment I by 1, and again we need to iterate 0, 1, 2. So this thing can be considered, right, in outside for loop, and this thing can be considered in inside for loop, right? Now let us look at how we can do this, right? How we can do this. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to maintain a for loop which is having an integer value, integer variable I, where the I value will start at 0, because here the initial value is 0. You can observe here the initial value is 0, and I less than, right? I less than, the maximum value will be 2. I less than or equal to 2. Each and every time I need to increment I by 1. So this is the first for loop. Okay, this is the first for loop, and inside first for loop, once again, inside the first for loop, we need to maintain another for loop, and inside this one I have a variable called as j, whose value is 0, and j less than or equal to 2, right? And j plus plus, right? So I'm closing first for loop, right? And I'm closing the second for loop, right? If you observe here, initial I value is 0. We enter into the loop, right? We enter into the loop with I value 0. Now initial j value will be 0. That means the first value given will be initialized at 0 comma 0, and then the j value is incremented by 1. Now j will become 1, whereas I is 0, and again the next value will be placed at 0 1. So initially I'm sorry, initial I value and initial j value. So initial I value is 0 and j value is 0. So the first variable will be placed at a of 0 0. Now j will become 1. We are not going out of this loop, we are just staying in the loop. So now j will become 1. I value is 0, j will become 1. So the next value will be placed at 0 1. I value is 0, j will become 2. So the next value is placed at 0 2 whenever j becomes 3. And when we check the condition 3 less than or equal to 2, the condition is false. So whenever the condition is false, it will increment the value of I. So I value will become 1. And again, if the I value is incremented, it will start executing from here. If it start executing from here, again j is initialized with 0. Now again j will become 0, and then I value remains as constant, j will become 1, I value remains as constant, and j will become 2. After j became 2, if we have an increment, that means j plus plus, it will become 3, and again the condition will become false. Whenever the condition is false, it will increment the value of I. Now I value will become 2. Again j is initialized with 0. I value remains as 2, j will become 1. I value remains as 2, j will become 2. Here what happens here is, if j is again incremented on 2, again the condition became false. Again it come out of the loop, and in case now I value will gets incremented. Now I value will become 3, and it will check the condition 3 less than or equal to 2. Again it is false. So it will just execute the next lines of the code. I hope you all understand this one. If you have still any doubts on this one, please make a comment, or please text me. I can explain this one, right? So people who don't understand how the for loop will behave and how the for loop will work in a program, right? Please see the video on for loops. There is some, I have explained the for loop. That means I have explained the control statements. Not only for loop, I have explained all the things. Here we are using for loop. The people who don't understand how the for loop is used in the program, you can follow the control statements videos, which are on our college YouTube channel. Right now, let us repeat the same thing. Let us iterate and let us repeat the same thing here. Right? We have written 9 number of statements. I am going to delete 8, and I am going to replace this one. Right? I am going to replace this one here. Here we want to print something on the output screen. What we want to print? We want to print all the elements of this multi-dimension array. So simply by giving I and j, right? If you say I, it will start with 0, and if you say j, it will iterate with 0 1 2, and again I will become 1, and j will be iterated between 0 1 2, and I will become 2, j will be iterated between 0 1 2. So this is how we can use the nested for loop in order to print all the elements of that multi-dimensional array, right? So let us execute this one. Let us execute and let us find whether will work or not. I'm saving the code. It is already saved with ma.java, which is a previous session's program. Just we have modified the program, right? Now it is compiled successfully. Now I'm going to run the code. If I try to run the code, it is asking to enter 9 values into the array. So I'm entering the 9 values. My 9 values are 50, 60, 70, 80, 8, 90, 80, and something called as 40, 30, and 20. So we have entered these values. And what the system.out.println is doing, it is going to print, you can see here, it is going to print all the values in the array EA, because we have iterated with between 0 to 2, both rows and columns, and we are trying to print all the elements in that array. So it has printed all the elements what we have given. We have given 50, 60, 70, 8, 90, 80, 40, 30, 20. Similarly, all the values have been printed here. So this is how multi-dimensional arrays will work. Now let us have a look at how to do the addition of two matrices, right? So here uh, we have taken one array. The name of the array is A, and it is a multi-dimensional array. Now what we want to do is we need to take another array. So int b, right, two subscripts, because it is a multi-dimensional array, new keyword which is used to create that array, and data type, and thus here also we are going to take the size as 3 3. That means it can also accommodate up to 9 elements, right? So after taking this one, uh, we need to maintain some changes. Please enter 9 values into, let us take it as first array. Enter 9 values into first array, right? So this is how we read the 9 values into first array, right? So along with that, define one more array, and use this array to save result of addition of the above two matrices, right? So previously we have taken int c equal to a plus b. Similarly, so we are going to take array c, which will store array a and array b. So c equal to array a, right, array a and array b. So this is what we are going to do right now. So that's why we have defined 3 arrays with the name ABC. All these 3 arrays are multi-dimensional arrays. Okay. So these values are stored in rows and columns, right? Now we are going to print all the 9 values, right? So now uh, let us take input of second array. I am just copying the code, right? I'm just copying the code, and again I'm pasting the code, and I'm just changing something called as, instead of first, right, instead of first, let us take enter elements into second array, right? Enter elements into second array. So the name of the second array is b, so I'm iterating the b, right? Now what I want to do is, here I am going to change something called as the result of addition. The result of addition is, the result of addition is, so it is going to print the values of c, because we are going to store the result of a plus b in c, right? So before that one, we need to add a and b. We need to add a and b. Let us copy the code again. Let us copy the for loops again. It is very simple. If you learn how to write this for loop for a multi-dimensional array, how to use this nested for loop concept for a multi-dimensional array, it will be very easy for you. Now what I want to do is, here I want to write something called as c I j equal to a I j plus b I and j, right? So c of ij equal to a of ij plus b of ij. If you observe how these values are going to be iterated, initially I will be 0, j will be 0, and then I remains as 0, j will become 1, I remains as 0, j will become 2. Whenever j will become 3, that means it will not execute this one, it will just come out of the loop, and now I will become 1, and again j will iterate from 0, 1 and 2, and then I will become 2, again j will iterate from 0, 1 and 2. And when both these becomes 2, and if they are incremented, the condition will be going to be false, and this loop will not be executed whenever the value of I and j became 3. So this is how we are going to add the things. That means c of 0 0, right, initial I value and j value is 0, is going to store the addition result of a of 0 0 and b of 0 0. If you write two matrices, right? If you write two matrices, if for example, if 1 2, there are two matrices called as 1 2 3. First one is having the values of 1 2 3 4, and second one is having the values of 5 6 7 8. The resultant addition of these two matrices will be 6, right, 8, and 3 plus 7 10, and 12. This will be the resultant matrix. How we are getting this resultant matrix? We are adding, right, we are adding 1 plus 5, right, and storing the 1 plus 5 at 0 comma 0, and I think this one is A and this one is B and it is C. So we are adding the values at 0, A of 0 0 and B of 0 0, and we are storing those addition result in C of 0 0. And now next one, we are going to add the values at A of 0 1 and B of 0 1, and we are storing the result at C of 0 1. And again, we are going to add the values at A of 1 0 and B of 1 0. We are going to add these two things, and we are storing the result in C of 1 0. And finally, we are adding these two things and storing the result in C of 1 1. So this is what we have written here. So this is what we want to happen. That's why we have written this one, right? So this is the program which is going to add two arrays. Sorry, two matrices, not arrays, two matrices, right? So let us check the program once again. Initially, we have created three arrays. Among those three arrays, right, this one is the first input array, and this one is the second input array, and next one, and this one is the output array. All these three are multi-dimension arrays. So there will be two or more number of two subscripts in the sense these things are called as subscripts, right? So next one, after that one, we have written scanner class object. We have created this one. This one is used to take some inputs from the keyboard during the runtime of the program. If you want to use this scanner class in your program, initially we need to write this statement. That is, in order to use scanner class, we need to write import space java.util.star. After that, we have asked the user to enter the 9 values, and we are trying to store those 9 values in the first array, right? So how these 9 values are stored in the sense, these 9 values will be stored at row 0, column 0. First value will be stored at row 0, column 0. Second value will be stored at row 0, column 1, which means if you have a matrix, right, first this row will get filled, next this row will get filled, and third this one will get filled. Okay, so this is generally what will happen if you have a for loop like this. And then we are initializing, so we are going to take some input integer values. That's why we are taking this one as next int, right? And similarly, that we are repeating the same code which was highlighted over the screen. It was to take the input values for the first array, and we are just repeated the code, right? Repeated the code here, but the only difference is that here we have used A of ij, but here we have used B of ij, which means here we have taken the inputs into first array, and here we are going to take the inputs into second array, right? So now the third array also we are going to repeat the same things, I equal to 0, j equal to 0, because we are trying to work out on addition of two matrices. The addition of two matrices, C of 0 0 is going to store the addition result of A of 0 0 and B of 0 0. So here the ij values in all the three matrices will be common in case of addition. That's why we have taken C of ij equal to A of ij plus B of ij, where the values of I and j will iterate between 0 to 2, 0 to 2, which means there will be 9 combinations, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, because the maximum value is 2. And then 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2. So this is how we can iterate the nested for loop in order to add two matrices. Okay. Now I want to print all these things. So simply the resultant of the addition of these two matrices is stored inside C. Simply by printing the C, it will print the resultant matrix of the addition of the two matrices A and B. Right. Now let us save this one first. Let us have a look at the compilation of the program. Let us look at the compilation of the program. Here we got some error. So ma.java, it is our program name. At line number 7, we got some error. And the error is that semicolon expected. So if you observe that particular line at line number 7, it is line number 7, right? There is already a semicolon here. But what happened is we don't maintain subscript. That's why we don't maintain subscript. That's why it is asking for a semicolon, right? So instead of that one, if you have an subscript open braces there, the error will be automatically cleared. So again, I saved the program, and again I am going to compile the program. Right, I don't get any errors in this program. Now I am able to run this code. So if I'm running this code, right, it is asking, and please enter 9 values into first array. So my 9 values are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are my 9 values. And please enter values into second array. It is asking to enter the values into second array. So in the second array, what I am going to do is I am going to enter something called as 9, right? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. These are my 9 values into second array. So if all these values are added, we are getting the addition is that 1 plus 9. If you observe here, we are getting something like 1 plus 9, because we are adding A of 0, 0, B of 0, 0 is storing in C of 0, 0. We are getting 10. 2, right? 2 plus 8, it is 10. 3 plus 7, it is 10. 4 plus 6, 5 plus 5, 6 plus 4, 7 plus 3, 8 plus 2, 9 plus 1. So this is how all we get 10 values. So if you observe, these values are not in, if you see on the output screen, these are not displaying like matrix. If you want to display them as a matrix, right? If you want to display them as a matrix, right? Please include 2 more statements in the code, right? My 2 statements here are, right? System dot out dot, right? Print ln. Each and every time if certain value is initialized, I need to have some space here. So there will be some space will be added between two. There's some space will be added between 2 elements in the same row. And if we want to have, right, if you want to have a new line, sorry, just use system.out.print, right? If you want to have a new line here, right, you can use slash, right? I can use this. Let us verify whether this one will work or not, right? Here I am using system.out.print some space and system.out.print ln, right? So now let us save the code and let us try to run the code again, right? It is successfully compiled, and now it is asking for the 9 values. My 9 values are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we are getting some other order other than the first output, right? We are only included this one for the first array, right? There is no need to check for the second array. If the first array is looking like a matrix, we can do the same thing for the second array. So let us do some more changes here in order to bring it in the matrix format, in order to bring in the rows and columns format. let us do some changes in the program so that it will look like a matrix. So now what I want to do here is, right here, while giving, don't use this one here. What you do is, just here we can use tab space and one more thing, enter, and we can, by using tab space and enter, we can view the values here. That's not an issue. But here, while we want to print, right, while we want to print something on the screen, I want to print each and every element with some space. So I am adding, after the element, I am adding some space. After that one, I need to print each and every line, right? Each and every line in a new line. So I'm just using system.out.println. ln means it will bring something into the new line. So I'm going to save the code and going to run the code, and then, sorry, compile the code and then run the code. Now my first three values are 1, 2, and 3, right? And the next three values are 4, 5, and 6. And the next three values are 7, 8, and 9, right? And it is asking to enter the next 9 values. So my first row contains the values 9, 8, 7, right? 9, 8, 7. Next one 6, 5, 4, and then 3, 2, and 1, right? So these are the two matrices what I want to add by using this multi-dimensional arrays in Java programming language. If I press enter, see the result. The result of addition is 10, 10, and 10. Still, it is not printing in the matrix format. So let us do some more changes in order to print that in the matrix format. So here, what the changes we are going to do is, right, we are going to include a thing called as /n. We all know the usage of /n, which will bring something into the new line. So I'm going to save the code, right? I'm going to save the code and compile the code and run the code. Now I am giving the three values 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And my second array elements are 9, 8, 7, right? And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you can check. So again, we are getting the same thing. I think I don't save the program. Just a second. I'm sorry. We need to have some changes in this code. Please include not some space. I'm sorry. Please include some /t, which will have some tab space between the elements. Save the code, compile the code, and run the code. Now you can see my three elements, or first three elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and next three elements are 7, 8, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Still we are not getting. Just a second. Just a second. Yeah. So instead of using this println, just use print. So println means it will print in the new line. That's why we are getting some new line each and every time. And if you use print, it will print in the same line, and there will be some gap from element to element in the same row. So let us save the code and let us try to compile. It is successfully compiled, and I'm trying to run. So my numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And the second matrix numbers are 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, right, if you observe, now we are getting some matrix called as 10, 10, 10, and 10. Right? So how we are getting in the sense, it is adding 1 plus 9, 2 plus 8, 3 plus 7, 4 plus 6, 5 plus 5, and so on, 9 plus 1. So it is adding A of 0, 0 with B of 0, 0, and it is storing in C of 0, 0. It is adding A of 1, 1, and B of 1, 1, and it is storing in C of 1, 1. It is adding A of 2, 2, 2, and B of 2, 2, and it is storing in C of 2, 2, right? So this is how we can perform matrix addition by using multi-dimensional arrays in Java programming language, right? Hope you all understand this one. And with this, I am going to close today's session. And in the next session, we are going to deal with the multiplication of two matrices in Java programming language. Hope you all got all understood the things in of addition of two matrices, right? So the people who don't understand, please watch it again. And still, if you have any doubts or queries, you can just contact me, or you can just comment me in the comment box of this video, right? And thank you all for being here, and thank you very much for listening to my lecture in the last 40 or 50 minutes, right? So in the next session, we will meet with the multiplication of two arrays in Java programming language. And thank you for being here once again.